Come on, this way. Something to keep the bugs away. To pass a little bit of the time away throughout this video, I'm going to read you one of my favorite stories out of the Poetic Edda, and it is the story of how Fenris Wolf came about and how he was tricked into being bound and trapped. And this is a story that was written way back by Snorri Sturluson, was the name of the guy, and this translation is translated by Anthony Fawkes. And I believe this is in the public domain, so I should not get in trouble. But I hope you all enjoy. Don't mind Burgle panting in the background. He's been chasing bears out here on the mountain. So here we go. There was a hall called Gleipnir, It is held up by golden pillars, and likewise roofed with silver. Therefore Seti dwells most days and settles all disputes. That one is also reckoned among the Aesir, who seem some called the Aesir's calumniator, an originator of deceits, and the disgrace of all gods and men. His name is Loki, or Lopt, son of the giant Farbalti. Laufey or Now is his mother. Baelest and Helblindi are his brothers. Loki is pleasing and handsome in appearance, evil in character, very capricious in behavior. He possessed to a greater degree than others the kind of learning that is called cunning, and tricks for every purpose. He was always getting the Aesir into a complete fix, and often got them out of it by trickery. Sigyn is the name of his wife, Nari or Narfi their son, and Loki had other offspring too. There was a giantess called Angrboda in Giantland. With her Loki had 3 children. One was Fenris Wolf, the second Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, and the third is Hel. And when the gods realized that these 3 siblings were being brought up in Jotunheim, and when the gods traced prophecies stating that from these siblings great mischief and disaster would arise for them, then they all felt evil was to be expected from them. To begin with, because of their mother's nature, but still worse because of their father's. And then all fathers sent the gods to get the children and bring them to him. And when they came to him, he threw the serpent into that deep sea which lies round all lands. And this serpent grew so that it lies in the midst of the ocean, encircling all lands, and bites on its own tail. Hel he threw into Niflheim, and gave her authority over 9 worlds, such that she has to administer board and lodging to those sent to her, and that in those who die of sickness or old age. She has great mansions there, and her walls are exceptionally high, and the gates great. Her hall is called Elundir, and her dish Hunger, her knife Famine, the servant Ganglati, a serving maid Ganglat, and the threshold where you enter Stumbling Block. Her bed Sickbed, her curtains Gleaming Bale. She is half dead and half beautiful and flesh-colored. Thus she is easily recognizable, and the rather downcast and fierce-looking. The Aesir brought up the wolf at home, and it was only Tyr who had the courage to approach the wolf and give it food. And when the gods saw how much it was growing each day, and all prophecies foretold that it was destined to cause them harm, then the Aesir adopted this plan, that they made a very strong fetter, which they called Leiding, and brought it to the wolf, and suggested he should try his strength with the fetter. The wolf decided that it was not beyond its strength, and let them do what they wished with it. At the first kick that the wolf made at it, this fetter broke. Thus he loosed himself from Leiding. Next the Aesir made a second fetter twice as strong, which they called Dromi, and asked the wolf again to try this fetter, and declared that he would achieve great fame for his strength if such mighty pieces of engineering could not hold him. The wolf thought to himself that this fetter was very strong, but also that his strength had grown since he broke Leiding. It occurred to him that he would have to take some risks if he was to achieve fame, and allowed the fetter to be put on him. And when the Aesir declared they were ready, the wolf shook himself and knocked the fetter on the ground, and strained hard, kicked with his feet, broke the fetter so that the fragments flew far away. Thus he struck himself out of Dromi. Since then it had been used as a saying to loose from Leiding and strike out of Dromi, when something is achieved with great effort. After this, the Aesir began to fear that they would not manage to get the wolf bound. Then All-Father sent someone called Skimir, Freya's messenger, down into the world of black elves and to some dwarfs, and had a fetter called Gleipnir made. It was made of 6 ingredients: the sound of a cat's footfall, the woman's beard, the mountain's roots, and the bear's sinews, and the fish's breath, and a bird's spittle. And even if you did not know this information before, you can now discover true proofs that you are not being deceived in the following. You must have seen that a woman has no beard, and there is no noise from a cat's running, and there are no roots under a mountain. And I declare not by my faith that everything I have told you is just as true, even if there are some things that you cannot test. Then spoke Gangleri, I can indeed see that this is true, and I can understand the things that you have given as proofs. But what was the fetter made like? Hai said, I can easily tell you that. The fetter was smooth and soft like a silken ribbon, but as firm and as strong as you shall now hear. When the fetter was brought to the Aesir, they thanked the messenger heartily for carrying out their errand. Then the Aesir went out onto a lake called Emsfar, onto an island called Lingvi, and summoned with them the wolf showed with him silky band, and bade him tear it, and declared it was rather firmer than seemed likely, judging from its thickness, and passed it to each other and tried it by pulling at it with their hands, and it did not tear. Yet the wolf, they said, would tear it. Then the wolf replied, It looks to me like this ribbon, as though I will gain no fame from it if I do not tear such a slender band. But if it is made with art and trickery, then even if it does look thin, this band is not going on my legs. Then the Aesir said that he would soon tear apart a slender silken band, seeing that he had earlier broken great iron fetters. But if you cannot manage to tear this band, then you will present no terror to the gods, and so we will free you. The wolf said, If you bind me so that I am unable to release myself, then you will be standing by in such a way that I should have to wait a long time before I got any help from you. I am reluctant to have this band put on me, but rather than that you question my courage, let someone put his hand in my mouth, as I pledge that this is done in good faith. But all the Aesir looked at each other and found themselves in a dilemma, and all refused to offer their hands until Tyr put forward his right hand and put it in the wolf's mouth. And now, when the wolf kicked, the band grew harder, and the harder he struggled, the tougher became the band. Then they all laughed except for Tyr. He lost his hand. When the Aesir saw that the wolf was thoroughly bound, they took the cord that was hanging from the fetter, which is called gelga, and threaded it through a great stone slab, and this is called Gil, and fastened the slab far down into the ground. Then they took a great rock and thrust it even further into the ground. This is called Fitti, and used this rock as an anchorage peg. The wolf stretched its jaws enormously and reacted violently and tried to bite them. They thrust it into its mouth, a certain sword. The hilt touches its lower gums, and the point its upper ones. This is its gum prop. It howls horribly, and saliva runs from its mouth. This forms the river called Hope. There it will lie until Ragnarok. Then spoke Gangleri. It was a pretty terrible family that Loki begot, and all these siblings are important. But why did not the Aesir kill the wolf, since they can expect evil from him? Hai replied, So greatly did the gods respect their holy places and the places of sanctuary, that they did not want to defile them with the wolf's blood, even though the prophecies say that he will be the death of Odin. got slobber. What are you doing, Bird? How about that? Come on, you can do it. Good job. Good boy. It's like a ninja. Okay, go now. Go. Oh, let's go.